you. It's going to work for you, yes, because if you're arrested, you won't pay them.
Yeah.
But it will work for you.
Advantage. Yeah.
But the teacher that started teaching in 1985 is able to still teach today because he has been given a new curriculum.
Yes.
For the next 5 years. Right? The only difference in mentorship is that in most cases as mentors, we don't evolve with time.
Why does it feel like this is a session for you, Jack?
It does, because as he speaks, I'm like having something of saying, wait, I've been having this wrong, I've been looking at this way.
Where this guy said, their ancestors were complaining and said, we are not HR underground that you would ask job from us. So I don't want that situation where my daughter would ask for things from me in my grave.
Yeah.
Are we all ready?
Yep.
Okay. Can you do the countdown for me?
Alright, 3, 2, 1, and action.
Depending on what time you'll be watching this. My name is MySunflower, and welcome to another episode of The Kasi Uncover. Today is not as per usual. I am with Jack and Mr. Derrick. Hi, Jack.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good, how are you?
Hi, I'm good. Why won't demand the platform to introduce myself?
No, you can.
Hey, yo, Sanbonani Dumelang Abushelinda. My name is Jack Mabokechaba, aka BlackGod, Black shit way. We do a take from a quick, fast way. And yes, this is how I introduce myself.
Yes, and how does it feel to be on the Kasi Uncover?
Oof, I think it feels nice. It feels nice. Yeah, it feels nice.
It feels nice.
Yeah, nice is the word of the day.
Nice is the word of the day.
Yeah.
And good day, Mr. Derrick.
Good morning.
Oh, good. It's still morning.
It's morning.
Oh, morning.
Yeah, I'm Shani. And thank you very much for having me today. I'm looking forward to a great day and great time.
How are you doing? Because you seem like a very busy man.
Well, I'm doing well. Busy, it's more of trying to make sure that you get everything in order, systems, processes. And I think that also should match to what do you earn out of that. So whatever that you put effort to, it's something that you know that will give you some reward. So we have to be busy for that reason, not just being busy, in a club or wherever, where at the end of the day we're just spending, not creating some revenue.
I think if I were to introduce you, I wouldn't do justice. I think the same applies to Jack. You wouldn't do justice. So please tell us, who is Derrick?
Okay. Derrick is a gentleman from Limpopo who came to Johannesburg to make life, right? And I think I came to Johannesburg in 1996, to be precise. And I've been here since then, worked for different companies and worked for Discovery Health until I moved on to start my own company, which is a new Discovery BS, by the way. So it came from working for Discovery Health. But the great thing was ambition to help businesses, startups, to help mentor and offer business advice to entrepreneurs, which I've been doing since the year 2000 and up to today, right? And I've worked with different organizations, government, corporate, private sectors, until I would say that I came to join IBASA in 2014 and became a member. And being at IBASA, I think I've learned a lot and I've grown a lot because I managed to be in the marketing committee for IBASA, and then to a point where I got to be the MD for IBASA. That's where we are now. And IBASA, what we do is we certify business advisors. So if you are a business advisor out there, you say, I want to be certified, so we are able to take you through the process, and then we certify you, and then you will submit your portfolio of evidence, you will submit your qualifications, and then we'll do assessment and evaluations. And then you will qualify. If you qualify, then and we are recognized by someone, by the way. So I'm saying this because I think in the news today we have a lot of that going on about some institute being deregistered and all those things. So we are more in good standing, I should say. That's who I am. I'm married, and I've got one daughter, and who's ambitious about business also. So that's where we are.
And that sums up you.
That sums up me. In short, actually.
So I think I would like to know, because in what you've said now, I've had business, and business. Please just paint us with your upbringing. I'm interested to know how was it like.
Wow. Okay, that's great. It's a quite interesting story. I grew up in a family of 4. I'm the eldest, and then I have a younger brother who passed away, Jomo, and there is Billy, still alive, and there is Susan, who's our sister. We grew up in a very rural environment, like your Limpopo, if you know Limpopo, Giyani, Mushiani village, where there was no electricity, nothing, no water, we had to go to the river to play and to bath at the same time. You know that kind of movie where you have to jump into the river and you come out, and then you jump in and you come out and all that. Naked, by the way.
What do they call it now? It has a name.
It has a name.
It has a name.
It's made it to be like more of a tourist attraction.
So we used to do that, stand on the cliff. Then you just jump in off the rock and to the water. I remember at some point I almost drowned, but thanks to the gentleman, I think he passed away now, poison. He rescued me because when you're drowning, you think you're moving forward, but you're not. But you find yourself in the same place. So I would say that those are. But also when I look back, I would say, God, thank you, because I believe that it was by God's grace that He preserved me for this moment. But in that environment, I was at school, went to school. We used to walk to school, 8 kilometers to Makulasavi High School at Makula village. And we'd walk to school. When it's raining, you just have to get a checkers plastic wrap, your books and everything, but walk to school. And then I remember at some point it was an exam, and you had to walk into that exam dripping, sit, and then you write the exam, then you walk out and all that. But one thing I know with this kind of setup is that there was no kind of motivation for you to know where you're going. No, you had to find yourself in that environment. So how I found myself is I made sure that I visit the library at school. And that's when I got to understand life. I got to understand, okay, there is life out there. There are a lot of things that you can do as an individual. You can become a leader. You can become a Mandela. You can become I think by then you can become Ronald Reagan, and all those things. And I think that helped shape me, that at school I would take leadership roles like the president of the SRC and all that. And I think it was based on the ambition and the drive within me to say, do I want this success? What is this success? And when I look back now, I would find that the interest would be there to look at Cadillac cars, put them on my wall, And so that kind of ambition, I think, it kind of shaped me somehow, how I think, how I can achieve certain things. So it's more like what you picture, what you have in your mind, it's what you can achieve. If you pray about it, you believe God about it, then you are able to achieve it. So I would say that was the setup. I wouldn't say, because I know that there's a tale in most people to say when I've achieved something. My parents were struggling and all that. No, my dad was working, also a unionist at workplace and all that, because I remember through his effort, I was one of the first students to get a bursary from his workplace.
Oh,
Yeah, so
Nice.
because of his push and drive. The only thing that we did not agree was that I should be a policeman or I should be a teacher or a lawyer, one of those things that he said. The reason is that I did sort of a determination in myself to say I want to be an entrepreneur at early stage. That I want to go into business, I want to have businesses. I think that also assisted me to say, while at school, I would sell your chocolate, have a camera and take pictures and all these things. So more like entrepreneurial, and most of the trips I would cover myself, pay for myself, and to go to the trips. And I think that helped me a lot, because when I look back, I realized that actually this has been a journey that I've been walking. And unfortunately, there are a lot of people that would think, you know what, maybe this business thing, it doesn't work for me, but it depends on when did you start it, and when you started, what was the drive, what was the ambition and all that. So in my case, I think there was that drive, there was that ambition, and to the point where I could find myself where I am today, based on that. Because I remember when I left Palabura, because that's where I was working for water, what do you call this, like your rainwater, water board, Palabura water plant, because that's where my dad was working. And then they took me and said, no, because we took you to school, we want you to now work for us, And I worked for, I think it was December, and maybe it was the wrong thing I did, but maybe it was the right thing to chase me out, because I was assisting at the HR department. So I was going through the file of the salaries of everybody. And I was like, hang on, if I'm going to be here, this person has been here for 15 years and is still earning so much. I'm not going to stay here. I called my friend Lawrence Matebula. He was in Shawelo. He said, I called him, I said, listen man, I'm coming to Joburg. I want to come and look for a job there. He said, no, come. And then we stayed together. And after that, I think I just arrived on, it was on the 4th of, I think the 4th of March during 1996. Then by the 10th of March, I was now working for Sportnet. But I think that also shows what is it that you want, what's your target. And because when we come from home, you've got a pressure to where can I stay and all that. And then from there you have a pressure of, you know what, maybe let me take any job, and then you can go for security. But I was very particular to say, no, I need a job that is in line with what I did, because I studied business management. So for me, it was more on getting myself in those environments. That's where it came to. And then my parents have been grateful, and my dad passed away I think in 2018, but it was a proud moment for me, because he passed away when I could see that he has set us up, all of us.
I'm interested to know, because you mentioned that your father would have loved you to be a policeman or one of those professions, but instead you went for business. How was it like in terms of the support that you were getting from your parents?
Look, my dad was very, all that he wanted is that go to school. And I was this child that would wake up and lock myself in the room for the whole day, right? But to them it was like I'm lazy. But to me I was not lazy, because I was studying. I was listening to the radio, listening to, I think then it was Africa, Trans-Africa Radio, where you would listen to the international news. I would listen to the US politics, how the elections are going and all that, the UK politics, and all that. So for him it was for me to say something that you can get a bursary and do. But unfortunately for me, it was a different thing. But he was not strict. I mean, he was not even forcing. Because I remember when I got my matric, I went to the high school with my matric. My brother was working there, one of our family brothers. I went there with him to show him my results, and he said, "Oh, congratulations!" And then the principal looked at him and said, "Oh, man, you've got B in English." And he said, "No, can you come and teach English?"
Wow.
Yeah. And then I said, "Yes."
And then you went, you took the job.
Took the job. That was my first job,
Interesting.
teaching.
Yeah.
Then I taught English that year, and then I finished teaching English. While I was teaching English, I think, but also it shows you God has got a way of unfolding what you desire. You know, because if this is what you desire, it becomes easier. It rolls out, according to God's plan. Because God knew that my desire is to be in business, and the first exposure was to expose me to a business environment. Because these guys came to school. I think I was teaching Julius Caesar. Yeah, I was teaching Julius Caesar. They came to school, and when they came to school, they were coming to sell study guides and teach at the same time. So they would teach, ask for a period, teach, then they sell study guides.
Yeah.
And they came to my class, and English class, and then they taught Julius Caesar. So I stopped them. I said, "No, you're wrong. That's not how it is."
Yeah.
That's not how it is. You're not interpreting the ironies, the semas, all these things in terms of English. And the guys, when they finished, I said, "This is how you should teach it going forward."
Yeah.
And when they finished, they said, "Can you come and work with us?"
Oh.
I said, "Oh."
So you were out there creating these opportunities.
Oh, okay, guys. Okay, let's talk. I will come next year.
Yeah.
The following year, left teaching, resigned, went to work with them.
Yeah.
We went around schools teaching and all that, and I realized that actually I'm making more sales on my English lecture as study guide. Then I quit the company with another gentleman, Chris Makwala. We went to start our own. Then we started selling study guides, go to schools, teach, then sell the study. It was good in Afrikaans. That's what we're teaching, and biology. Then we're teaching, and then we sold study guides. So yeah, that's how we kind of, I saw the light in terms of business, but also it allowed me to now decide and say, I'm gonna start business studies, and then I did that. But also at the college, I think it was the first, when I went to Palabura College, it was in 94, when there was your Mandela, release Mandela and all that, right? And then, I don't know how it happened, then I was, it was a multiracial kind of, then I was voted the president of the SRC, and then I was like, oh, thank you very much. Then I just led the college, at that point, yeah. So I would say that my parents were supportive and being out there. But I remember when the company collapsed, and I went back home, and I told my dad, I said, "Dad, I'm sorry, that company that we started, it's not working." He said, "But what am I going to say to, I told everybody that you're traveling the country and all that." But he died a happy man because of what I've achieved and what I've done for him and for my mom. My mom is still there, and I make sure that I go and see her always.
That is interesting.
Because from all what we've been talking about, I hear that from the youngest age you have been into business. You were actually, I would say, you were born to be business-minded individual, right? Which I assume at some point probably you were in it, but unaware that, oh, actually it could happen. Like you mentioned, I could be able to sell a suite, I could be able to take you a picture and all that. So I would say apart from what the parents wished you to be in, the kind of profession, and apart from being in business, have you ever thought that what else or what profession would you be apart from the two?
From the two?
Yes.
No, actually I've been, even now I'm thinking, I know my dad, when it comes to being a lawyer, he was correct. But the only challenge I think then it was to understand what kind of a lawyer you should be. Because for us, a lawyer, it was more of going to court and represent the criminal and all that. But we're not exposed to commercial law. We're not exposed to marine law. We're not exposed to different kind of laws that you can practice and all that. And now, being in business, I realized that had I been maybe a commercial, kind of, but also understanding also, because that's where most of us will miss it, to understand that being a lawyer may not necessarily mean that you have to go and practice and stand before the magistrate. No, you can be a lawyer, but for the company. And you become a corporate lawyer, and then you work for companies. All that you do, you see them review all the contracts, review all the HR policies and all that, labor dispute, represent your employees and all that, and you still become a lawyer. You're still a lawyer by profession, but you still practice. So the interest was there to say if I could follow this path, and it's something that I'm more passionate about, to say if I were to still do it, I would still do it. If I have time, I can still enroll and do it, and knowing that it's not about representing. But I think sometimes also you may not become what you wanted to be, but in your family cycle and your relatives or the young people that you groom and all that, you kind of instill that for them to choose that as a career. And not because it's going to work for you. It's going to work for you, yes, because if you're arrested, you won't pay them. But it will work for you. But it will work for you because you are able to you have influenced them, but you have already motivated them to do it because you understand the value. So I've got a niece who's now graduating, I think, in April somewhere there, LLB, all that. And so these are the things that you can see and you're proud to say, in as much as I did not do it, but the influence of talking about them in their presence, motivating them, getting them to come and say, which career can I go for? You say, no, this one is good, this one may work for you. But knowing that in your heart, you know that this is something that I wanted to do. But not in a way of, I don't know if you saw Miss Congeniality movie, where there was this lady, Sandra Bullock, and there was the organizer of the crown in that movie. And what would happen is everybody that would get a crown would pass away. Those who would get a crown, they would die or sick or whatever. Because she wanted it to be the Miss whatever, but she did not get it. So she kind of became violent against everyone that aspires to be in that position. And which is what's happening in most cases. Imagine somebody comes to work for us at IBASA, but has got a law degree. Because that's what I desire to have. It's easy for me to want to suppress them and to kind of victimize them because they have what I would have had. But so sometimes it's for us to say, how do we motivate people that if they have what you don't have, but how do you motivate them to do better? And all that. So sometimes you can have that envy and anger against people because you did not achieve it yourself, but you still have a chance to support them, and make them grow.
So just to wrap up the parents talk, right? You mentioned that you're a parent, you have a daughter. I mean, what can you say to parents whom, like our parents, for instance, they don't understand what we're doing, they don't get it, and they don't get it, they don't understand and they don't even take time because it doesn't exist in their world. They don't want to know about it. What can you please advise these parents?
Look, it's difficult, especially that we are living in a digital age, number one. Number two, we are living in a changing world, right? So what they were exposed to is not the same as what we are encountering now, right? And to parents, if you say, I want to go and hustle, or I want to go and do something, to them they look at, sometimes not that they don't understand. No, sometimes it's they feel for you. They kind of have this compassion. And when they talk to you, they may talk to you out of compassionate heart. It's not that they don't understand what you're doing, but it's that even if you were to do what parents understand, trust
Yeah.
me, even if you were to do law, you would graduate law and all that. But if you can't show progress in life, parents will always be worried. Because they expect you to be married, they expect you to have kids, they expect you to have a house, a car, and because they are comparing you with others and all that. So what I normally would say to parents that allow kids to explore what they want to be and how they want to be, right? And if they come and say, I want to start this business, if you can financially support them. I don't know how much I've spent on my daughter starting something new, always, to come and say, hey, me and my friend want to sell this, want to do this, and I'll say, you know what, go ahead. If I have the money, I have. If I don't, I don't. But if there are points where I advise them, I said, this is not going to work, we did not listen to each other, I will raise it. And say, but you did not listen to me. But doesn't mean that I'm not going to support you going forward. I'm still going to help you, but you should have listened when I told you that, you know what, this may not work. This will work. So sometimes, if the parents are not supportive, it could be that they don't understand. But what is important is not only parents. This applies also to partners. You can talk about parents, but even your partner may not understand what you're doing.
True.
So what's important is sit them down and say, this is what I'm doing. Yes, there is no money now, but if I persevere or I continue doing this, in the next 3 years or so, we can get advertisers on board, we can get this on board, and this can work differently. So sometimes take them through, talk them through what you're doing, and let them understand what you're doing.
Yeah.
Then they will support you.
True.
There's this word that just like it pops out when we try to do our homework on Jack.
We're even debating around it in the morning.
I think you pronounce it better.
Entrepreneurologist.
Entrepreneurologist, yes, I got it right.
Thank you. Tell us the meaning of that. What does it mean?
Okay, I get that question a lot, and I answer it always, and I even get it from the academics, to say, hey man, what did you study? Because if you say logist, whatever, it means that you are an expert in a certain field. I sat down and realized that if I really have to stand out, especially on your search engine, I have to have a particular identity. That's it. So in doing that, I had to look around and say, okay, everybody's going with, I'm a consultant, I'm a business advisor and all that. But if I were to come up with a simple format or way of defining myself, what would be a simple way for somebody to remember me? So when they call me, they can say, oh, you know what, this is an entrepreneurologist. But for me, it was something that I did not even do research on. I just sat down and said, look, I'm assisting entrepreneurs. Because if you're a business advisor or an entrepreneur, what you're looking at is to assist you in terms of your, not necessarily a business, but the focus is on your mindset as an individual. How can I help you as an individual? So most of my work was more on helping people as individuals, and making sure that as individuals, how do I speak to you in terms of understanding entrepreneurship? And that also allowed me to say, then who am I that I'm speaking to entrepreneurs? So I should be something else, and that's when the term entrepreneurologist came. And I think by then when I saw it, I think I wouldn't say it's after or before, but because I checked and I saw that there's one fellow in Cape Town, he's a lecturer at the university, and he's now calling himself entrepreneurologist. Then I checked around, and then I realized that no, there are 2 or 3 people that are already using the title. And I think by now it could be maybe 10 or so people that are using the title. But it's something that I had to explain, but something that for me kind of fitted well with me to say, wow, this is working for me. And when somebody wants me to assist them, they know, oh, I'm calling an entrepreneurologist, and that's it. Boom. And that's it.
So when we were seated outside just before we came in, I was asking Jake about the mentorship thing, right?
Yeah.
And I think he will explain it better on what he told me.
And I think I would say almost you and I, we share sort of same sentiments in the sense of saying what I couldn't do or what I did wrong back then. When you mentor someone, it's where you want to see the better version of yourself in that. So you share almost same interest of field or share same ideology of what you want to push in life. And I think it's something that you also highlighted, but then I would love you maybe to go further into details, because my own understanding was that if I'm in a certain department and I did so and so mistakes, and if I get to mentor you, of course I would want you not to repeat the same mistakes. Instead, I would give you something that's gonna make you to bypass that process. But that still doesn't guarantee that you won't do your own mistakes. But then me mentoring you, that means in future you need to mentor someone else, and you need to make sure that they are 2 times the better version of I was.
Okay.
Would you also explain or define mentorship in
to that extent? Yeah.
Yes.
I think for me, mentorship, there are a lot of people that have different thinking or mindset or ideology around it. Some will tell you, no, you can't mentor if you have not achieved success. Some will tell you, no, you need to have some experience before you can mentor. Some would say you must have run a business yourself for you to mentor somebody into business. And the question that I always give is that if you were a teacher, right? And if you look at the teaching industry, the curriculum changes according to the trends, right? So what happened is the teacher that started teaching in 1985 is able to still teach today because he has been given a new curriculum for the next 5 years, right? The only difference in mentorship is that in most cases as mentors, we don't evolve with time. We want to be mentors of what I know, how things were done when I started, that's how it should be, right? I meet you, you are into digital space. I've not upgraded my understanding and knowledge into digital space. You understand? And for me, if we talk about this slide, I would imagine it hanging somewhere for it to illuminate better. You understand? But because of, for me to understand and to be inquisitive, it would be easier for me to say, you know what, let's set it on the floor, it will still give us the same effect, right? So when you look at mentorship, it's not about necessarily what you have achieved or done before yourself. No. It's about understanding different industries that people are in, so that when they come to you, you already know what will be the challenges in that space. You understand? But it's different from personal mentorship, because personal, it's about, I need to understand who you are, where you come from, what challenges did you face in the past, for me to be able to help you better, right? That's a psychological kind of an approach. But in business, it has to do with, yes, you come in, you tell me about your problem, but I already know the industry that you're at. So being a mentor, it means that you have to understand different industries. You have to have that insight of different industries. And that you don't have to wait for somebody to come and say, I want to go into manufacturing of cars. For you to understand as a mentor, what is the combustion? What is the, what do you call this, the platinum? Where is the platinum used in the car? You know, oil and all these things. So you need to have that. But also, when somebody comes and say, I need you to mentor me, it's easier to mentor anyone if you are diverse in your approach, if you understand differently. But there is this one that would say, I want you to mentor me because you're already in that space. That is experiential mentorship. Yes, because now you come to me to work with me. So meaning that I may not even talk to you about mentoring, that I'm mentoring,
Yeah.
Come, let's do it. Then we
Yeah.
start doing it. And then you are still being mentored.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we need to understand those kind of segments. And then also there's that psychological element. Psychological element will come where you find that you have subscribed and said, you know what, Derrick, I'm Lee, I need a mentor, please, can I subscribe on your program? You subscribe today, you pay, or whatever the case might be.
Yeah.
3 months down the line, something tragic happens to you. You stop mentoring, coming to the sessions.
Yeah.
As a mentor, I need to understand what exactly happened, but I need to have a way of saying, we can still move on with this program while you're still dealing with this part of things. Because you get a lot of people that, instead of even telling you what their challenges are, because you've already judged, Derrick is too strict, he's very, rigid and all that. I know if I tell him about my problem with my boyfriend, he's gonna judge me.
Yeah.
And then you bottle it. Or that you send me the email is that, can we suspend the mentorship? I will tell you when we can start.
Yeah.
Whereas the reality is that it's not about the mentorship, but you've been dealing with problems. And forgetting one thing, I normally would like to refer human beings to universe. God created us as a universe kind of an approach. If you can check biologically in terms of how many cells you have in the body, they run into billions. It's the same as the number of stars, the number of planets. If you can check how long is your veins in the body, they will tell you that it can cover Africa.
Yeah.
You understand?
Yeah.
Why am I making reference to this? It's for you as a human being to understand that you are multi-built to be able to multitask.
Okay.
Yes.
Multicellular human.
Yes. You are multi-built to be able to multitask. Meaning that while dealing with grief, you can still make profit.
True.
While dealing with these challenges, you can still. So the problem that we have is that when you have this problem, this must stop.
You shut down.
You have a problem with the studio, it's locked or whatever the situation, then no shooting. You understand? But if you multitask, you say, you know what, I'm gonna take my stuff to a client, I'm going to do the shooting there, because what is the end goal? Is that I must have a product. I must have a result.
Yes.
The challenges, the situations you'll deal with later. You'll ask the questions, why did you lose the key? But what is important is to make sure that what you said you will do it. That's why when I do something like this, I know I'm in a session. I won't have the phone on. Because I know somebody will call me and say, hey, your uncle passed away. You understand? So you need to know how to program your everything about you, but how to structure your life so that you can be able to achieve results in everything. But how do you do that? It's very simple. You need to say we have 100% ratio, right? Out of 100%, every component of my life, how many percentage does it own? Relationships got 10%. Finance got 10%. Relationship with my parents, my relationship got 10%. And my work colleagues 10%. And my dreams and vision 10%. My education 10%. Now you sit and say, now, how do I balance this 100%, this component of 10% each? Which one can I give more? Which one is making more revenue? If you read this, the financial reports of any company, they will tell you data is the one that gives us 60% of the revenue. How do they know that? It's not that they are getting, no, they already projected that out of data we should get this. So that if they miss the target, they know on data we missed the target, we have dropped. On calls, on this, on that, on that. So that for me is what assists us to understand, but also it's what can assist even mentors to understand, so that when they deal with you, they need to know what takes much percentage of your brain in a day when you think? Is it business or is it your personal problems?
Yeah.
If it's your personal problems, they must find a way to say, how do we address your personal problems before we can address the business? So that I can have your attention. That's how it works.
Why does it feel like this is a session for you, Jack?
It does, because as he speaks, I'm like having something will say, wait, I've been having this wrong, I've been looking at this way. So now since you mentioned there's it could be like a personal mentor and all that. I don't know, I've been struggling to find the difference. I don't know whether there's a huge or there's a thin line between either a business coach or a life coach and a business mentor, like the coach and the mentor.
Okay.
Is there like a difference, like a huge distinguishable thing?
Well, for me, I think when we talk about a life coach,
is there a thing also, sorry, is there a thing like business coach?
There is, yes.
Okay.
There is a life coach, yes.
Okay.
And for me, a life coach, I would say anyone who did psychology should fit into that category. Right?
Okay.
Because there you're dealing with emotions, you're dealing with emotional intelligence, you're dealing with personalities, you're dealing with challenges that individuals may face. But when it comes to business coaching, you are dealing with processes, systems, you're dealing with academic kind of stuff in terms of what is it that you need to do for marketing? How do you set your target for marketing? How do you do this? How do you do that? Right? So, yes, there must also be an element of psychology, but that it may not be a profession, but something that you need to also learn yourself to say, how do I balance? But when it comes to business mentoring and advisory, it is something that has to be more of business related. Life coaching, it has to be something that has to be about your life. You're struggling about, bereavement, you're struggling about, children, you have problems with that, and then you have also a career coach. Career coach could be somebody that would help you study better, choose the right career, and all these things. So these are the levels that we can look at and say, how do we, but they differ in a way. And also you have a situation where the next question maybe you will ask me would be that, what's the difference between a coach and a mentor? You see? And you'll find that there's not much difference.
Yeah.
But when it comes to a coach, it's somebody that will tell you how you must go and play the game. If you lose, you will say you did not hear what I told you. But when it comes to mentor, it's somebody that would say, you know what, it's like a child in a bike. You hold a child in a bike, ride with the child until the child learns how to try to ride the bike, and then that's it. That's why mentorship may have a lifespan. It's not forever.
Yeah.
You need to sign up for 2 years. After 2 years, there must be a graduation. Then business coach can be for life, because this is the person that coaches you. This is the person that advises you regularly. And then you have a business advisor.
Yeah.
This is somebody that can sit in your board. This is somebody that can sit in some of the committees. This is the person that will just sit and observe, and then from there can tell you, no guys, this one I don't think you can do it this way. This is my recommendation. Go and deliberate on it, and then you can implement it.
So in this mentorship thing, right? I think maybe the mentee is who's being mentored.
Yes.
They probably wouldn't expect to like fail or anything like that. What do you maybe say that in before you guys start with the mentorship, that actually don't expect this to be like win. You should expect to fail, you should expect to make mistakes. Is it something that you can converse with the mentee? Like, is it a conversation that you have? It's had between the mentor and the mentee?
There was a story that has been told about, is it Christopher Columbus, or I can't remember who, but because I don't want to quote things wrong. When they landed in America, they came in a boat, in a boat and all those things, and then they landed, and then when they stepped down into, I can't remember whether it's America or Spain, but they were discovering one of these countries. He said, gentlemen, we have arrived where we're coming. So let's bend the boats. Bend the boats.
Yeah.
So meaning that there is no going back.
Going back, yeah.
But here is the thing. The person who said that is a leader with a vision. He knew why we are here, what we are going to do, right? The same with a mentor. When you get a mentor may foresee what's going to happen, how we can do it, and all that. But you as an entrepreneur, you may not see it. You may not understand it. Sometimes when it starts, you may think, this thing is a waste of time. Maybe I'm wasting money and all that.
Yeah.
But if you are to follow what they tell you to do, because sometimes a mentor will say, you know what, here is a template. Go ahead and draft a business plan and bring it to me, and then we'll do a review. And I'm giving you 2 weeks. And if you do that, you take 3 months. You don't even come back. When I ask you, are you ready with it? No. Hey, you know what? I've been so busy. You know, and I've been so hectic and all that. A mentor won't force you.
Yeah.
No, a mentor won't force you, but will know that this is frustrating the process because we should have been moved from here to here.
To here in the space of 3 months.
But it doesn't mean that your business is guaranteed for success. No. But have you done the steps that you were told, step by step? You know, with our Inyangas, witch doctors, they are very smart with that. Because they will tell you, don't look back.
Yeah.
And when you come back and say, sorry, I did that, it did not work, and the question they will ask, did you look back? Yeah, I think I looked. Yeah, so that's why it did not work. Or don't talk to anyone until you reach home.
Yeah, that is hard.
And I greet you. Somebody greets you and then, hi. Did you greet somebody? Yes. Yeah, so it did not work. You understand? So the same principle would apply in terms of men, because I would have told you, let's do a business plan. Or can you go and do a research on this and this and that? And then the business phase. And we realized that actually we did not do the research that we said we should do first to understand the market. So sometimes, yes, you can do everything according to the book. But the only thing is understand what makes it fail so that you can fix it. Because whoever started business in 2020, the chances of them having failed are very high because the market was locked. You see? So understand what are the factors that led to that and do some remedial actions and then so that you can get it right next time. So a mentor does not guarantee you that you're going to be successful. I know there are those who say that when they want your money and say, you know what, 6 months, don't worry, things will be okay, your business will be here and all that. But it's not something that you can guarantee because there are internal factors and external factors that can contribute to the failure of any business.
Yeah, that's really interesting. So I think before we get to what I saw on Twitter on your profile there, I'd like to ask you in terms of the business side of it, like what are the not so obvious challenges that one encounters in this business journey? And also the follow-up question would be, do you believe that business people or entrepreneurs are born with, like they're born like that and one can just venture into entrepreneurship?
Well, I'm not sure, because if I say business people are born, I today take the lotto, I go and play lotto and I win 150 million. And I decide to buy a hotel. I'm a businessman.
Fair enough.
That's it. Yeah, I'm a businessman. It could be that I became into business because somebody advised me that for you to sustain your revenue, you need to invest it. And guess what? I may not even run that thing. I will hire people, pay them salaries to run my business. And then I can spend all my life on holidays. What am I?
Wait, I'm having an energy. Is there a difference between a business person and an entrepreneur?
You see now, that's another question that would come in.
Yes, because like...
So, being an entrepreneur, it's when you come up with idea, a concept, something that can generate income, or when you identify a problem and bring a solution to that situation. But being a business person, a businessman, it may be that you've got money. Somebody who's an entrepreneur can come to you and influence you to start something that they can run for you.
Well explained. Like, there's no any other better explanation than that.
Exactly. Yeah.
So I went through your I'm snitching on myself. I went through your Twitter account. I think now they call it an X. So I noticed that like there was a poster of the space, the Twitter spaces, the hashtag BizTalk. Are you still doing those, and like what was the reason for that?
Well, that one I think we started it in 20. Actually, I was not even aware that I started it in 2017. Only to check when I checked on, because using hashtag is very important in everything, because you're kind of storing your own data.
Yeah.
So I did hashtag BizTalk, and when I look back, I realized that actually I've been using it since 2014, and I was not aware. And in 2017, I did some space talk and all that, and people were not joining and all that. And it has been my desire and ambition to either do recording, which I did actually on YouTube, but when the space now became more prominent in terms of, I realized that this is the right platform where you can have audience, where you can teach, where you can lecture, where you can talk about business. So it's more like a masterclass, right? So on our BizTalk, what I did was that, look, instead of doing it alone, can I get a team of people that experts or panelists that I can sit with, and then we just have a business conversation. We come up with topics and all that. We are now at I think episode 10 now, because we do it every Thursday. Because that's what we do. So we've been doing it, and it's been going on quite well, I should say, because we see the numbers are growing. So at some point 1,200, at some point 900, at some point 400 and all that. But also it's a platform that I've got a desire that businesses can advertise themselves, promote themselves in the platform, and also probably to say, I wouldn't say advertisers, because I believe much in having built my kind of a brand, not for somebody else to use. But for me to use it. So I not build my brand to become somebody's product. No, I built my brand to work on it myself. I've got an NGO that I'm running, Mentors Without Borders. I've never asked for donations for that. I told myself I need to raise money for myself, for my own thing, and make it work. So that has been there, and it will be there until, by God's grace, it will continue, because I've seen the results for it. I've seen comments, reviews, and people coming back and say, you know what, thank you very much, you have helped us a lot.
Yeah, I have just a question, a typical one. I think because you're a mentor, you work with all these different people, different characters, different age categories and all of that. There's this saying of the youth of today is lazy. What do you think about that?
Well, I think the youth of today are lazy. It's true. I'll tell you why. Because no one can tap into their brains and understand what they are thinking. That's why they can be labeled lazy. But if you were to tap on what they are thinking billions. They are thinking huge projects. They are thinking huge product development. And when they start talking, people don't understand them. They criticize them. Then they withdraw. Because everybody expects them to do hard labor, to be available there, go and do marketing, they are looking for receptionists there, you must go, you are lazy, you are not looking. But there is something that is holding them back, a dream that they have in their mind, which nobody can interpret, nobody can understand. It will take a grown-up person to kind of take time and ask that young person and say, what makes you not want to look for a job? And you'll find that that person will tell you, listen, I'm working on this product, here is in the laptop, can you look at it, the prototype? All that I need is 1 million. And guess what happens with us, the old ones? When they show us, you are just dreaming, we walk away.
Yeah.
We don't assist that person to. If you look at the US, UK and all those countries, all the young people's dreams are financed by angel funders. They are able to put money and say, you know what, go and take a risk.
Yeah.
But in South Africa, you have an idea, you are waiting for government agencies. Government agencies are overcrowded, everybody's looking for funding, you are in a queue for 5 years. By that time, it would look like you're just wasting your time.
Yeah.
So, for me, there is no one who's lazy. Actually, there is no one that can deliberately say, I don't want money, I don't want to earn, I don't want anything, I'm chilled, I'm relaxed, I'm sitting. No. If you have a guitar, you start playing, composing music, everybody will say you are lazy to work. But who knows? With one song like Taylor, you can just go worldwide. You never know. Yeah. So it's more about what is it that also in your attempt to, you don't have to justify yourself to people to prove that you are not lazy. But at least have a written plan down so that one can, if somebody would say, can I understand what you're doing? They can be able to go through it and say, no, but this person is not lazy. This is what they are doing. But some of them, you'll find that they don't leave it written down, so it's difficult to understand whether you are lazy or you're just planning something. Or you just want to create the next atomic bomb. We don't know.
That was interesting. Do you have anything, Jack, before I ask the last question?
Well, for me, I think it was answered before I was even planning to ask it, in a sense of saying, because I know it's almost like a typical question, how did the 2020 corona lockdown affected you? I know it's a typical question, but it actually brought to this question of saying, would you say the idea of this front space, right? Since it was started back then, but would you say ever since during Corona, because now most of things moved to digital, we're now meeting on Zoom, we're doing almost everything online. Would you say that also kind of enlightened this idea of saying, hey, actually YouTube is gonna work like online? It has more influence as well. Also, target market and people now have advanced now into the digital world. Would you say that had an influence also for persuasion of that idea?
It could be, but at the same time for me it was more to say, if you are, for you to expand in your business now, for example, if you want to expand in your business, you want to do 20 interviews in a day, right? Where you have another team somewhere doing, collecting story, the other team doing that. Then it means that you need a lot of equipment that you can work with, right? But for me, if I'm a business advisor, I cannot delegate the role of business advisor to somebody else. But I can create a platform where different people can converge to be advised at a common space. That's how it is. But also for me, it was to look at the kind of job I'm doing now. I'm now working with IBASA as the MD. We are also driving membership for the organization. We are also driving information. We are also, because we're an advisory company, I saw it also as a platform where all the business advisors can come in and say, you know what, I want to be certified business advisor. I'm seeing what you guys are doing. So 2 components, marketing drive, but also information drive.
Nice.
That makes sense. Do you have any other before?
No, I think that was my
that wraps up.
I'm so enriched. All the time when you speak, I'm having it's like cricket in my head.
It's giving goosebumps.
Wait.
Yeah, so we have a question that we ask each and every guest that we have on the show.
Mm-hmm.
The question is, what are you holding yourself accountable to do going from this interview at this moment going forward? What are you holding yourself accountable to do? But because you're a mentor, could be for in terms of the mentorship, it could be for the IBASA position that you have as an MD, like it could be for your family, anything. What are you holding yourself accountable to do?
Two things.
On record.
On record, two things, and which I think my daughter will be watching, is to make sure that she has the life that she wished for. And not because I will be able to take care of everything finance, but for me is to say, as a father with one daughter, do I see her as an heir to my assets, my everything, my business, or do I wish I had a boy? No. No. So whatever I do, it's 100% committed towards my daughter, towards the future. And whatever I do is to make sure that I'm held accountable by the next generation. So that when the next generation comes and say, Grandpa was here, they look around and say, what did he leave us?
Yeah, I think there's to be evidence.
Because I was reading this very interesting tweet or social media kind of quote where this guy said their ancestors were complaining and saying, we are not HR underground that you would ask job from us. Yeah. So I don't want that situation where my daughter would ask for things from me in my grave. And my grandchildren would come to the grave. Grandpa, we don't have these open ways for us. No, I want to leave the ways open for my next generation. But also applies to the communities at large, to everybody that needs help. I would want to see myself having made a change in somebody's life. There's a movie, Rich So Rich. I read a lot, I watch movies a lot. The movie was this guy who was in the army, and he was only carrying a Bible around, walking around with the Bible. And everybody said, you know what, you are lazy, you don't want to what? He said, no, I don't want to carry a gun, I don't want to kill a person. Right? But it happened that they were at a very crossroad, the military. He put the Bible down. He took the rope. He pulled all the injured soldiers. He tied them, he pulled the rope, pulled them down to the medical center that was set down there. He pulled over 200 or more soldiers in that day. So he became a hero for that battle, for life. That there was a movie about it, I think it was produced by Mel Gibson, Rich So Rich. So he was standing on top, making sure. They did not know who was lowering these people. No, they just saw a body comes, they injured, come down, and they nest everything. And they asked them, actually, what's going on? They said, no, there's a young man there. That Bible guy is the one who's helping us. I want to be that person that would lower people for help somewhere. Thank you.
Yeah, that is something else, and I think already we have 2 movies to go watch. Did you get that?
So rich,
yeah, and
that's a movie fan also.
So I'm really not, but I'm interested to watch these.
No, actually for me, maybe that's why when I watch a movie, I must first get a background. But also, I love based on real, life story and all that. But also, it should be something that will I learn something out of it? Will I get something out of this movie? And I've got a list of movies that I'm still gonna watch, and the ones that I've watched, and I tick out. But it must be something that I would say, will this be a waste of my time, or would this be worth it? And if it will be worth it, And yeah, and if I watch a movie and 5 minutes I don't get it, I just switch off.
You move on to the next.
Yeah, move on to the next. So I watched one now recently. It's Brian Banks, who was accused for rape. It's in Netflix and all that. And the lady later said, no, I was still young and I was scared. What will I tell my parents? And yeah, and it was released from the crime in terms of those. So these are the things that would motivate you to understand that, okay, this way. And I think he was in the football player, and his career was affected, but after he was cleared at the age of 28, he went back to play and he became famous again.
Yeah. No, man, Mr. Derrick, thank you so much for your time. I think I, for one, have learned a lot. I know, definitely. A lot of take home.
Thank you.
So I'll attach the link to your Twitter profile so that they see what we're talking about.
No, it's fine.
And
you let me know, and if you need me again, let me know.
Yeah, definitely. And with that being said, from Lee, MySunflower.
And me, of course, Jack the BlackGod.
Yes.
And from Entrepreneurologist, thank you for watching.
Thank you. Don't forget to subscribe. What do they say then?
They must subscribe, like, and press that notification.
Dampo and share.
Notification
Button. Button or bell?
But it's a bell. Okay, yeah, the bell.
Thank you guys.
Thank
Thank you very much.
Thank you.